Good morning, tubers. Welcome back for another adventure. So, according to YouTube, I've been making videos for 12 years now. I've got almost 45,000 subscribers, and for each and every one of them, I want to thank you. My videos are watched about 5,000 hours a month. I mean, that's just crazy amazing. I have 5,300 videos and I get over 100,000 views a month. So I can't do all that without subscribers. And I have to say, actually, subscribers and people who comment on my videos, that's the best thing about YouTube. I've made a lot of good friends on YouTube. More names than I could even go through. Some of them have become fairly close. We make deals together, we hang together. So, I mean, that's really pretty cool. And I've also made some mistakes on YouTube. And let me tell you the positives, right? There is some cash flow, though only about half of what it was at its peak. Some of that my fault. I'm not making as many videos. Some of it because YouTube has changed. Some of it because people have hijacked some of my videos and now they're going under their names. I was just looking something up about 300EX machines. Did I make a video on this one? And I discovered a bunch of my videos have been hijacked. So that didn't make me very happy. It's also become much harder to get on YouTube. You got to have a certain number of subscribers, certain number of videos, and it really kind of stinks if your first video was kind of viral-y. You get a whole load of views, and you're not getting paid for it. So that's definitely a setback. So the good things. I enjoy the subscribers, I enjoy the comments, I enjoy making videos. And to do this for 12 years on more or less the same topic, it's obviously something I enjoy. So all those things, great things. You know, I've also made some mistakes, and some of those mistakes I made relatively early. Initially, I allowed too much personal information out on YouTube, and I had people kind of showing up and calling and doing things that had me a little bit concerned, had my wife very concerned. I had to up security and, be very careful about that. So luckily I made those mistakes early. Just remember, as you grow a channel and you get to the point where you have millions of views and almost 50,000 subscribers, there might be an occasional person that has a loose nut in that crew. So be careful about your personal information and security. So that's one mistake I made. Mistakes that I've seen. I try to keep my personal beliefs and comments and all that stuff to myself, and I personally recommend that also. You could find people who believe like you believe and all that, but my channel's about all-terrain vehicles, not about what I believe or don't believe. So, or what you all believe or don't believe. Let's talk about all-terrain vehicles. They're much more fun and much more practical. Mostly for what we believe and don't believe. You really can't move the ball too much, so let's enjoy what we can. Other mistakes that I've made, considering my genre, my subject, it's similar in some ways to Musty One, and people like him. Musty One's a cool guy. Musty One's clever in that he knows to not clog his shop up with stuff. He brings in an all-terrain vehicle, a tractor, a boat motor, whatever he's working on, an antique motor, He brings all that stuff in, a Volkswagen, and he makes a decision early on. Am I keeping this And if he keeps it, typically he gets rid of something, right? He just doesn't keep clogging his gears with more and more stuff. I have another friend of mine, Steve, also, same thing. He has a certain amount of storage for all-terrain vehicles, and when he upgrades, he gets rid of the one that he upgraded from, right? If you're going from 300cc to 500cc with a similar either a sport machine or a utility machine, do you really need the 300 and the 500? And he's smart enough to know that he should get rid of that stuff. I like things, and I have a lot of different interests, from generators to all-terrain vehicles to tractors. I also do electronics. So, you know, as you're messing with all that stuff and you pick up a bunch of stuff on each topic and all the tools to go with that and the supplies to go with that, one needs a lot of space, and quite honestly, it's very easy to get clogged up, and that's a mistake I've made. I also, my background, my professional background, I'm a failure analyst. So a lot of times when I get a machine in, I try to figure out what went wrong with it. And once I do, I've kind of like, wow, that was cool. And at that point, I want to move to the next machine that I want to find out what's wrong with it. Fixing them well enough to get them out and running and moving and all that, that interests me. But all the little details do not. As an example, here's two machines clogging up my garage, and I really need to do something about it. I don't know if I've ever put up a video on this 300EX. The backstory on it is somebody bought it and put a lot of time and effort into it, but the person was more of a lawnmower mechanic, a really good lawnmower. He knew diesels, he knew all that stuff, but he didn't necessarily know these all that well. When I went to buy it, he couldn't get it started, and it turns out that the air cleaner was saturated with oil. So as long as that air cleaner was on it, the thing couldn't breathe, and it was just flooding out, right? It would crank and crank. You know, he changed the plug, it'd fire 3 times, run rich, clog up, and go down. So that's the way I bought it, got it home, figured that out, got it running, but it didn't seem to be oiling on top. And it looks like I poked around with a little more, and for whatever reason, I stopped on that one. This one here is a Kawasaki Mojave. I bought it. It was a really pretty machine, good tires, really nice, all that. I got it home. I cranked it over, and this is a kickstart. Not very good at kickstarting these things, quite honestly, right? I kept trying to kickstart it, and it really sounded, the motor sounded, I'm going to use the word, sounded like a junkyard. Just didn't sound quite right. So I, after poking around with it a few tries, I finally checked the timing, and it seems that it jumped time. I don't know if it smashed up the valves or not, but once again, I'm like, oh God, this is a teardown. I don't have the time and space. So this is where it sits. So these are 2 examples of what limits me and my channel, right? You can only take in so much stuff, you know, if you collect all-terrain vehicles, without moving some out the back door. So that's one of my mistakes. YouTube's been good to me, and this video is basically to thank the people who have subscribed and listened to me and, you know, watch my videos. I mean, hopefully y'all have picked up some clever ideas, learned a few things. I think the best thing I've ever given to the world of YouTube, given to the all-terrain vehicle people, is the portable CDI box. My idea came from Bill Stanton, who was using 12-volt CDIs on machines he was putting together. And I thought to myself, after seeing his videos, is, wow, if I get that little 12-volt CDI unit and put it in a box along with 12 volts of battery and a coil and a switch and eventually a meter and a few other things, I could build something that makes troubleshooting these machines real easy, right? You need OCD to get a machine running, right? Oil, compression, and detonation in proper timing, of course. Let's go with that under compression, right? So oil, hopefully you check the oil before you start messing with the machine. Compression, you could figure that out pretty quickly. Like that one sounding like a junkyard means the compression wasn't working right. It was out of time. And detonation. So many of these machines come in with a hacked wire harness. You know, if you were able to give them spark again, they'd fire right up. So, there we are. I want to thank you all of you, for always watching and commenting and subscribing. Thanks to my old, the old is in, let's go with long time subscribers. Calvin, I see you. I need you all to keep your feet down, your heads up, and I need you all to get out there and enjoy each and every day. Make sure you do. Sometimes you get a little bit of a surprise and you realize that you're mortal. And sometimes you realize eating too much barbecue is no good for your heart. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. Feet down, heads up. Get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.